My name is Lamont at Large, and I am coming to you at the Texas State Cemetery here in Austin, Texas. And today I am here to visit the grave of Chris Kyle, better known as the American Sniper. Before I begin the video, I want to say a couple words about Chris Kyle. I first heard of him, I want to say, maybe about 8 or 10 years ago. I was listening to a radio show called Opie and Anthony Show, and they were interviewing a guy who claimed that he was a sniper and that he was part of the Navy SEAL Team 3, and that he was writing a book about his, tour in Iraq and Afghanistan, what he did, basically his life as a sniper, the training that he had to go through, so forth and so on. And he also told a story about how he ran into Jesse Ventura at a bar and basically knocked him on his butt. That story, I was like, when I first heard it, I'm like, who is this guy? Jesse Ventura has always denied that he was ever hit by Chris Kyle, and actually turned around later and sued him. And it's still suing his estate as far as I know. I don't know if they reached a settlement yet. Anyways, some of the interviews that I've read up about him, he said that he's had 60 confirmed kills, which is a very, very high number. A lot of people in the military might feel that his book and him speaking about things that shouldn't be spoken about on the battlefield is in poor taste. And a lot of people didn't take too kindly to Mr. Kyle coming out so publicly about some of the things in war that are done and some of the things that have to be done, and the things that everyday people like me and you particularly don't really want to hear. We don't want to hear that Chris Kyle shot so-and-so from so far away and this and that. But in my opinion, war is a very ugly truth that I feel sometimes needs to be explained and talked about. And I guess it's a kind of a therapy for people, some of them, that when they go to war and they kind of let it out between them and their buddies about what I did here, what I did there, so forth and so on. And I remember hearing when he was shot and killed, I think it was somewhere before the time the movie came out. And I remember watching the movie, and I don't go to a lot of movies, but I remember going to the movie, and the movie was okay. I'm not a big movie fan. I feel weird when I go to movies. I feel like I'm wasting my life. I could be outside watching squirrels or something. But the ending, very, very sad ending. One of actually the saddest ending to a movie I've ever seen in my life. Because the ending was true, that he was unfortunately shot and killed. This is the grave of Chris Kyle, the American Sniper. Son, brother, husband, father, the legend, God, country, family. His wife will be buried alongside of him. Chris Kyle was killed on February 2nd, 2013 in Erith County. It's about an hour south of Fort Worth. He and his neighbor, Chad Littlefield, were both shot and killed by Eddie Ralph at a gun range. They were picking up Mr. Ralph to take him shooting, I guess as some kind of therapy. I'm not sure if the term shooting therapy is used in that equation, but that's what they were doing. And he turned around and shot and killed both of them. The prosecutor in the case declined to go for the death penalty, so he was just subsequently sentenced to life in prison. Mr. Kyle had 60 confirmed kills as a sniper, and it was in an interview where I read that he had taken somebody out at 2,100 yards, which is, I believe, more than a mile. And I remember listening to an interview when he was talking, he said the most difficult shot he ever had to do was a woman that had a grenade and was holding a child. And he never regretted any of his kills because to him, it was just a part of the job. It's all a part of the job. And listening to Chris Kyle and in his interviews, he's a pretty soft-spoken guy. He doesn't come off to me as braggadocious or full of himself. He just talks very plainly and matter-of-factly. Everyone has a job to do. Some people cook in restaurants. Some people are dry cleaners. He was a sniper. A very, very dangerous job. And, you know, some jobs aren't meant for everybody. Here he is, folks. American Sniper.